are coming to you live on those two channels. Please do join us. Nthabiseng, how are you? It is an open line, hey?
It is.
It is an open line. So whatever's on your mind, legal questions, please feel free to call us. And let's hear. We've got Nthabiseng is here as our legal guru. Trust me, she'll answer your questions. How are you, ma'am?
Well, I'm good, but a little bit concerned.
Okay.
In the past week, I think, is it 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
There was my namesake.
Nthabiseng.
She was trending for the wrong reasons.
I think Nthabiseng Dlapho,
Yes. So a video surfaced of her kicking and basically beating her child up.
Yes.
It's alleged that she was doing that to get the attention of dad. And since then, I've read somewhere that she has been detained but also released pending further investigations or something along those lines.
There was a rumor that she had committed suicide, but it remains a rumor.
Yes, it remains a rumor.
It remains a rumor. We're not sure about that. But,
Yeah.
But it was a horrible video.
It was.
Yeah.
And it brings to me the rights and responsibilities of parents on their children, and also the rights of children. I think sometimes when we fight as parents, we tend to forget that the children are the important people here. There's a saying that when the elephants fight, the grass suffers. You know?
True.
So in this situation, the grass is the kids. And we tend to forget that the kids have rights that need to be protected. Paramount is that they have the right to protection and love and, not to be abused. It's actually enshrined in our Constitution in Section 28, the rights of children. It is so long in the right to education, right to be protected, right to be at home, to be in a home, right to parents taking care of them. Yeah.
For me, the biggest one there is the right to be protected from maltreatment, neglect, abuse, and or degradation.
Correct.
That's big. That's big. And she went against all of
them.
All of those.
Yes.
And more, actually.
And more.
So what actually happens? I must be honest, it's something that's been on my mind for a while. And the confusion for me is, if the story is that she was fighting with the baby daddy, so?
Really?
I've really tried to think about what she could be or she could have been thinking at that time. And at times you try and put yourself in somebody's shoes to say, maybe there was something there, but for the life of me, I can't find it. So it's not the first time that we're seeing or hearing of somebody doing that to their child because they're fighting with the partner.
Correct.
If I remember well, there's a lady who killed her kids because she was fighting with the husband.
Correct.
Something of that sort.
Yes.
Poisoned them and all of that.
Yeah.
There's a guy who I remember also killed the kids because the mother of the children was going to leave him. So it's things like that are worrying. But in terms of the law, what happens when I see somebody doing that? So this is my neighbor, or this is somebody I know, or I don't even know. I'm walking past and I'm seeing this person beat up their child like that. What can I do from a legal perspective?
So as a private person, in terms of Section 42, if I'm not mistaken, of the Criminal Procedure Act, you have a right to do what we call a citizen's arrest. Right? Okay. If you see somebody who's in imminent danger, and if you let that person go, there's a possibility that that person cannot be found again, and all of those things. You have a right to effect a citizen's arrest. Okay. Once you've done that, you have to alert the police, or at least bring the suspect to the police and inform them on what has happened. Then they can do the rest going forward. And then when it comes to minors, there's age limits in terms of what their understanding is, so their capacity to understand the law. In criminal law, it is called a criminal capacity. So it's between the ages of 9 and 14. You're deemed to have possible criminal capacity, so a little bit of understanding. It has to be proved first. But beyond the age of 14, you're deemed to have full understanding in criminal capacity. So in other words, you can be tried, but as a juvenile. Okay. So now, having said that, when we deal with minors in terms of these kinds of circumstances, if they're below the age, between the ages of 1 and 0 actually, and 6, the courts do have assessments from social workers to assess them, how life is, how they're being treated at home, and all of that. But it's taken with a pinch of salt because they're deemed not to have understood what is happening. But if you see a child is being abused or suffering, Section 155 of the Children's Act, it talks to if it's protecting a minor. So in that instance, once it's been reported to the social services that this minor is being abused, then there's an application to the court for protection of that minor. And then the minor can either be taken to social services for temporary care, and an assessment is done. And if after the assessment is done, they find there's nothing much, then the child can be returned back to the person.
Okay, so I have a few questions. Question number 1. Legally, why do they still need to go and say we are investigating when they have seen a video? So there is a video of this woman kicking the child, putting her foot on the child's neck. This child or a bit of pampers. So that tells you then diapers, they're still babies, right? So what are we still investigating? Why is that investigation? Okay, I mean, let's not go investigate. It's clear. Evidence is there.
You know, there's a term, it depends. Unfortunately, it depends.
On what?
We need to prove, that's called documentary evidence, right? So we need to prove that video was not tampered with in any manner. It has to be the original. So the fact that it went on the socials and all of that, maybe it was tweaked, maybe it was not.
But in her case, how it went out was it not her saying, something that my understanding is probably sent to hurt the father.
Correct.
Therefore, if I send out a video, myself, you can't come and say let investigate
But unfortunately, they have to get your cell phone. But that video comes from your cell phone, and indeed it was actually there. Hasn't a doctor somewhere in order to fabricate a situation for attention near the baby daddy, for example.
Okay, so that's question number 1 for me. Question number 2. This child has a father. You are taking this child to foster care. Is the father not considered first?
The father is considered, but there's investigations. So the fact that this video is out there in whatever manner or form, let's accept it's real. They need to ensure that you, as the non-primary care parent. So there's a difference between primary care and guardianship and stuff like that. The child primarily lives with mom. You have access to childcare the weekends and whatnot as dad, right? So now they need to ensure that should the child be removed from the primary care mom and taken to you, that child is going to be in a safe place. So that usually should take about a week or two. The social wire or those sheba and then makes a report to the court and says thumbs up. The unfortunate part in terms of Section 19 of the Children's Act, mothers automatically have full rights and responsibilities, which include guardianship.
Not fair, but okay.
Yes. And then unmarried mothers and married mothers, doesn't matter. Unmarried fathers have rights and responsibilities, but they don't have the automatic guardianship of the child. Unmarried fathers. Okay. You have to first have or accept or show a genuine interest in the child, or acceptance is sufficient for you to get the guardianship application in terms of that. If you're an unmarried father.
That's interesting. So if you're an unmarried father, you can actually run away because they can't. How do you say to an unmarried father that in actual fact you must accept? If he says actually I can accept, then what?
If I accept it, then the court, if I'm insisting, and this usually comes out getting maintenance case, if I'm insisting that he is the father and he's saying no, the court can order a paternity. And if the paternity comes out, then the rights and responsibilities automatically fall on the father without him accepting.
So he doesn't have to accept.
He doesn't have to accept in that sense. And then for married dads, all the rights and responsibilities from date of conception, they're there fully with mom. So my issue then arises with the unmarried dad's part, because if anything, in practice, what I have realized, and we are blinded to it if you're not in practice. In practice, it's so hard to get a dad a mere access to their child, and they're there, they're willing to be there, they want to be there. It is like pulling teeth. And when you interact with people that represent mom, and even presiding officers, they do this like, no, you know what, I've heard, no, you know what, I'm a mother too, so I get it.
What do you get?
From a presiding officer. Why are you putting yourself in this case? You're supposed to be objective and listen to both sides and hear what is being said and make an objective judgment or give a ruling in accordance to that. That shouldn't be the case. And dads sokola, it is so hard. And I'm not saying they're not bad dads out there, but as much as there's bad dads, they're bad mothers.
Guys who actually want to be good dads as well.
Yes.
Besides the bad mothers, there's actually people who want to be good mothers,
who want to be present in their children's lives,
and then they're not allowed to be.
No.
Yeah, but that's horrible. That's just horrible. Now, Nthabiseng, I want to hear from you. I want to hear what you've got on 086-000-2479. You can also send us your voice notes on 060-584-2250. We're talking about anything that you want to talk about with regards to any legal matter. But right now, Nthabiseng was touching on the rights of children. You know, when it comes to the rights of children, it's as if, I don't know, man. It's as if children, we always say the best interest of the child, right?
It's paramount.
It's paramount. This is what we always talk about. But there are times when it feels like it's not.
100%. It seems as if the rights of either parent are the ones that supersede the right of the children. In lower courts, it's more so than it is in the higher courts. The high court is the upper guardian of all minors in the country. Match courts are basically subject to case law, and they're subject to what the high courts say at the end of the day. But in as much as they're creatures of statute as well, the magistrates, they have leeway to make certain decisions in their judgments. And sometimes, if not all the time, okay, maybe I'm exaggerating a little. Sometimes the judgment is not sound in law. That's why I always say, when it comes to children's matters, if we can and if the client can afford, let's rather go straight to the high court. There seems to be a lot more objectivity than there is in the lower courts.
But what happens? I sometimes ask myself, why is that the case? Is it qualification? Is it, you know what I mean? What is that? What causes that?
I don't know. I wish I had the answer. I've got a great friend of mine too, actually, but who are magistrates. And when I appear in front of them, and when I'm watching other people appear in front of them, it's sober. You know what I mean? Sobering, because they are doing things in accordance to what the law says. And then on other times, you go to another court and you listen there, and things are going over your head because you're not understanding what this person is trying to say. The law says X, they are saying Y. How do you correlate the thing? So I can't answer that to say if it's level of education, lack of knowledge, lack of reading, I don't know, or lack of objectivity.
Or all of the above. Okay, let's have a chat with Dineo. Hi, Dineo.
Hi, Mapaseka.
How are you?
I'm good, thanks, and you, and I was Nthabiseng.
Hello, good, we are good. Go for it.
Hello,
go for it, Dineo.
Yeah, ne ke kopa o se Nthabiseng a nthuse. I'm not a South African, ke motho wa tswang Lesotho.
Okay.
So ke na le ngwana le a South African guy.
Okay.
And then the child doesn't have the certificate. And ke a sokola for dintho tsa ngwana, like bo sekolong ba tlo mpata birth certificate, which I don't have. Ke tsamaile ko children's court for 4 years. Ha ya nthusa ka next. And then bamfa di number ba re ke Center for Children's Law. Ke teng ba hlelehile. So now ke kopa o se Nthabiseng a nthusa hore na nka kgona ho etsa jwang now, because ngwana wa hola and o ntsa ya sekolong.
O hlahetse kae ngwana?
O hlahetse mo South Africa bara.
Jole, how ba na record, so to speak, mo ngwana hlahetseng teng? I mean, akere ha o pepa, una need your hospital records and all of those things. Akere?
Yeah.
So how ya ka tsona court ha ba o thusiking hore ba neng ba order hore Home Affairs e register ngwana ka ntho ka birth certificate?
But because now I'm not a South African, ke ntate wa ngwana na le di rights tsa ho etsa jwalo. So ntate ha involved go bophelong ba ngwana at all.
That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, because by the way, we have to do the DNA test. Yes, every time I go for the DNA testing, that I don't have money, I don't have money. And West Part, when I go special school, because so like you get struggle. The special school, I have to pay school fees and transport. I'm renting, like everything, yes, I can. But only to say, but I for the DNA test and then to and record it necessary. I don't have to call him up until later the DNA test.
So Koti it's a fella until DNA is too.
Yeah, Koti is up until approval to wanna high this can phone or do anything.
No, wait. Something doesn't make sense there for me. This child was born in South Africa. The father is South African. Therefore, this child is
South African. Yes, but here's the problem. Hangwana ahlaile in the country whereby there's a South African and non-South African. Hangwana are registered at the moment of birth. At that moment, that's where the problem lies. And when you're not a South African citizen, the law doesn't cover you, quote unquote, in that situation. That's why we have so many unregistered. We have like over 1 million in the country who don't have citizenship in the country as it is.
Question.
So,
can she go register the child in Lesotho then?
That she can. And then birth certificate. But I don't think Lesotho ya amuhela. Last I checked.
Okay.
Last I checked, even though ngwana ke ngwana wa hao ya hae ka yena ngwana ba monka ele ngwana sa because ha sa hlaela ka hare ho Lesotho ba batla for example dipampiri tsa Queen 2 jwalo go no le sepetlele mono. You know what I mean? That's the last time I checked ka molao wa hae.
But no. But now that's putting the child in trouble.
Yes.
Actually, the parents are fine. Habasukul. The person that's going to be in trouble is this child. So what are we saying? And how do we help? I mean, the law, what does it say about this? Social training services, they should be able to stand up and say, okay, no, at least let's help with this. Because even if the mother is not South African, unless if they want to say the mother is not South African, therefore the child is not South African, then they must say so.
The law, unfortunately, hai be clear. That's why there are so many citizens in the country. Anything.
What happens if I'm pregnant and I go and deliver in the US, in China, wherever? What would happen?
The child, if you're able to register at that side, depending on the laws at that side, may be registered as a citizen, US, because the child is born there. Okay. If I'm not mistaken, US. If your child is born there, then automatically automatic citizenship, and then you get something they call it a green card or something along those lines. But each country, unfortunately, how do they deal with children that are born within their boundaries?
It's as if you know what I mean? They're like, no, we're not part of this.
Austin, I have one question. Where Kimang Island Court? Where na Island Court is an application? Kapo Kiena Island Court.
Kiena Island Court.
Application ya in.
Wana nasa khonu thola skolo. Remember, unasa khonu bua. So the public school ne di sa khonu ho amohela because bare she's a foreigner. They put it that way. She's a foreigner, and then they cannot or ba monken khosa khonu ho bua. For now, we can go to school for one. I had to go court or to school, and then I can the certificate. But the court! I think the court was protecting him than I protect the one.
Because all they had to do was make a court order. A DNA. It doesn't make sense on why the court didn't make an application. I mean, an order. Sorry, a DNA test. If it's all bound by a court order. So
hold on. Once he says he doesn't have money for this, does the state make you pay for that for DNA?
I think there's a fee. Maybe 100 and something rand.
Can you not pay that? Do you know?
It's not. It's something like 2,000.
Oh, yeah, this came. 600 rand.
Really? 600 rand.
Yes, this came 600 rand with a DNA test.
Oh, go this came.
Hey.
Yeah, if ngathola ejalo unga khona ho ipatala, but go khoti bane ba butsa ka 2.250, and then if kia go dieta go Braamfontein, I think it's something like 1.6. Yeah,
Hona netsa discam ke 600 rand mono no approach a court ga baning hona ni ene ke fumaneng this is the situation, make it an order of court a tsebo ga bane ha sai he's contravening an order of court and then he can be arrested etc wena o tsebo thola proof ga baning ke ntate wa ngwana and then that goes go tswela pele ho ya pele a ka net.
Okay. So can I kopa botsa hape this thing ya surname because nna like harna relationship when it comes to ngwana. Like re lwana ka ngwana. So because if motho wa ka ntle ngwana has to take surname ya papa hai and it don't sukudisa because nna le ena ha no mo ha
because he's a citizen. Yeah.
No, hold on guys.
Citizen.
You are saying this child is not South African. Hobani Mewa Hai is not South African. But you're saying no, this child must take surname and dadwai.
Should the DNA is really positive? Was South Africa.
But hona jwanong the surname kia mang hona kia house name.
Yeah.
So are you worried, Hore? Should you do the DNA test? It prove ke ngwana hai, then surname it loba hai, then it also sukudisa.
And having communication since ngwana hlahile nje ha hona hore okay
una it also sukudisa kang dino e ka so sukudisa next because once you thola birth certificate you're going to be registered as the mother on the birth certificate, so e ka so sukudisa letho.
Can you also not get him to relinquish all his rights or whatever?
High prove pele ho rabaning in terms of DNA ke ntate wa ngwana e be sharp. Because automatically then the rights are responsibility they kick in. I get right. And then thereafter, how does an application to the court rabaning rights and responsibilities if it's a holy one, abe stripped of those rights, and then how it goes from there.
Then that way she's able to make sure that everything
correct
is that good a passport or whatever else. She doesn't need daddy.
Yes.
She can do everything herself.
Yes.
Let's try it that way, Dinelle.
Okay.
Like he wants, thank you so much. But like he wants to respond to you, so I don't know if you want to hold on, Hanyane. Let's hear like you ring. Lucky, hi.
Hi, how are you?
Lovely. How are you?
No, we're good.
Great.
Look, in fact, I'm not trying to respond to her per se.
Okay.
But I want to attest to what she has been saying. But where we're staying, we are near the border of Mozambique and Swaziland. Okay. We experience this thing every now and then. And there's no way where she can go, whether I can go to court and do whatever, there's no way where she can register the child. It's unfortunate. The issue here is, let's take the Home Affairs, just for in case. Let's say somebody passes away, and that somebody doesn't have an ID. What it means the Home Affairs can only check what documents we have and put the death certificate in writing, but that thing cannot come out of the system like they printed from the computer, you see. So now when you want to register that child from a foreign mother, that foreign mother is not in our system. Let me put it that way. Sure. She's not in our. The father is there, but the mother is not in our system. So if you want to register now, when you register the child, you must put the ID of the mother, and then you can be able to register the child. If you're lucky to have the father as well, you can put the ID of both the parents, the father and the mother. That's when you can register the child. But if the mother doesn't have a South African ID, you cannot go to the system and register that for now. Up until Home Affairs and the Minister of International Relations and stuff, they agree, good, okay guys, let's do it in this way so we can accommodate this result. It's easier, much easier if the woman it's a South African woman. I've got cases where Zimbabweans are here, they have kids with our sisters here. That process is very easy. DNA test, 2 days, 3 days down the line, you can register the child. Because now the child, the mother is key. If you put it this way, the mother is the head when you register the child. The father is the neck. But if there's no head, then you can't register the child. It's unfortunate. We don't know when that can be solved. But for now, she can waste money, go everywhere. Even the High Court of I don't know which land, they cannot assist because if they can try to push Home Affairs to register this child, Home Affairs will simply say, no, we don't have normal particulars of the mother. Even if the mother was a South African, and if the mother doesn't have an ID, Home Affairs was not going to be able to register the child, even if the mother was from South Africa. You know, there are cases where you've got people that doesn't have IDs. If you don't have an ID, even if you pass away, they can't print a death certificate from the system. They have to write something like a bridge. That means they use that thing. They write your death certificate by hand. It's a challenge. So, my take is, for now, there's no solution. Maybe at a stage it might be. So, what needs to happen? I think the best thing is for our brothers to ask the situation for now. Let us not rush to do these things of impregnating this foreign woman up until such time when we've got the law that allows that. Because for now, I know
you're fighting a losing battle. I can tell you now.
I know.
And you know why I say that?
And thousands, yeah.
You know why I say that? Hona lebo Abdullah Nyana Ndlapo.
Yeah.
Abdullah Muhle. Ki ngwana teng, ki ngwana Sophie. Sophie. Unomntana no my friend umntana khona Abdullah Muhle uzoregister kanjani Abdullah Muhle?
We are the system is a Home Affairs. Even if you've got the mother is alone there, you can register the child because you are a South African woman.
So the problem is if the dad.
It's with the mother.
Is it if the mother is not South African? Okay.
If the mother is not South African, you can't register the child anyway. And it's unfortunate because even if you want to take that child away to visit the grannies outside South Africa, you can't take the child because there won't be any documentation that will allow you to cross the border.
Yeah, that's
the
tough.
system is a mess.
Yeah, no, guys.
I hear what my sister is saying, but for now, she's not the only one. I know millions and millions, especially this side of Nkomazi, this side of Mayflower. It's a problem.
Like it's a minister of I short portfolio how it loba ing no ase Home Affairs.
Oh, okay.
Portfolio ase Love Affairs. I
think
when Minister of Sexual Affairs because unali control it. Let's take a quick break. Thank you very much, Lucky, for the call. Let's take a quick break and we continue with the show just after this.
Trusted talk on life, love, and all with Mapaseka Mokwele on Radio 2000. Call Mapaseka Mokwele now on 086 000 2479. Send your voice notes on WhatsApp to 060 584 2250.
Are you looking for specific details from an interview on Radio 2000? If you happen to tune in at the tail end of an interview, or if you'd like to hear a specific interview again, worry not. Just go to www.radio2000.co.za. Click on the show where you heard the interview, and there you will find all the podcasts you might have missed on that particular show. Stay in the know on www.radio2000.co.za. Radio 2000. Our music, your memories.
The Royal Playground. We're asking if you're okay with your person, if Muntu Aku is still in touch with the ex, or when you are in touch with your ex, and what is your opinion on the matter? You see nothing wrong with that? Because there are others who are asking, what are you still talking about?
Sensitive topic right now, but I hear you. If you guys have a child together, be cordial, respect each other.
Why do you keep in contact with your ex when you don't have a child? If I'm in a relationship, then my ex has to know their boundaries.
And don't get me wrong, too much.
It's 3 hours of majestic radio with His Majesty King David.
Let's talk on life, love, and all with Mapaseka Mokwele on Radio 2000.
All right, it's 16 minutes to go. I'm lying. It's 14 minutes to go to 8 o'clock. What's it? Saying the time. Every time I check the time, I remember. What's the maths?
Mathematics.
Yeah, no. Dipalo. It's arithmetic. Dipalo. All right, we continue with the show right on Radio 2000. We're talking to Nthabiseng Dubazana, And we're talking about whatever you want to talk about. So whatever legal matters. We just so happen to be talking about children because that's what we've got on our plate. But if you want to put something else on our plate, we are more than happy to take that conversation on. Remember, at 8 o'clock, Ondelambana will give us the news. And just after 8 o'clock, we'll be joined by Bongani Luvalo. And we'll be changing the conversation. They will be having Monday. Yeah, that will be happening just after the 8 o'clock news. For now, though, Nthabiseng, we continue with our conversation. You know, we've got a few voice notes. Maybe let's go there.
Okay.
Let's start with the voice notes and then we can answer them as we go.
Sanibonani lapha studio.
Yebo, hi.
Bengicela ukubuza la. In terms of Criminal Procedure Act, if ubekwisini and wabona abantu benza i-crime, uyaboshwa yini nawe? Noma khona into ochaja ngayo. And besacela Sister Nthabiseng abe specific la. I refer this case yala amaphoyisa assaulta umuntu emgwaqeni. Ngicela ube specific. Anonymous ngiyabonga.
I don't think I understand.
I don't know if we work a case ya the king Batuba Mashatile. I don't know if maybe ubuaka yena.
But he's saying that if you see somebody commit a crime and it
No. So if you're a witness to a crime, so you were there when they were doing, you were not doing anything, but you happened to witness, can you be arrested?
No. You shouldn't be. It happens. I'm not going to lie. It does happen that you do get arrested because you happen to be there in the vicinity. So they just banker everybody who's there. And then, unfortunately, this is the part that sucks about the law. What sucks about the law is that you're going to have to prove your innocence. So I wasn't there.
I wasn't there for that.
I just happened to be in the vicinity.
Are you all going to be put in the same cell and area?
Yeah.
So how batlo shapa mos ba o jetse hore
ibile highly handle
o tshwantse be.
Yeah,
because they could actually pass the blame on to you then.
They can, especially if they make a decision, guys, let's decide whether this is the person who did this. I think that's why in this day and age it's always so cool that need video footage. People always pull out a camera for whatever. So that could probably exonerate you. But unfortunately it does happen that you will get arrested.
So in the case the highway guys that beat up the guys in the other car, Batuma Shatile, the King security personnel.
Yes.
Deputy President.
So if you witness that, already the accused persons are in the dock, you can approach the state and inform them what you know about it. And then Batlanka statement is how.
But if you are one of the people that were there, and you
were part and parcel of the assault. Like I said, unfortunately, you're going to have to prove yourself.
And we walk into a shop and you shoplift.
Yes.
Linna.
Unfortunately.
Can I stand and say, hey, whoa?
You can.
And then, but how do I prove? I mean, if Bato sit into Huena, isn't that proof enough?
But it was on to my shabanking. The shoplifting made West because they had so often. Halekena more shop. I can only CCTV footage. Yes. So whatever you're doing shopping, but you're standing in the same alcos as that CCTV footage doesn't show even though it can be found on that particular person. But, because they're going about that's the unfortunate part.
No.
Yeah.
My goodness. Let's take another break.
Life, love and all every Monday to Thursday from 7 to 9 p.m. with Mapaseka Mokwele on Radio 2000. Trusted talk on life, love and all with Mapaseka Mokwele on Radio 2000. Call Mapaseka Mokwele now on 086 000 2479. Send your voice notes on WhatsApp to 060 584 2250.
Okay, it's 8 minutes to go to 8 o'clock. Coming up at 8, I did say the news with Nthabiseng. And after that, Bongani will join us with the Monday Men Day. For now, though, we're talking about whatever's on your mind. Please, the WhatsApp number that we give out is not for phone calls. It is for voice notes. Please, do not phone that number. Please just send us voice notes on that number. If you want to call us, the number to dial is 086 000 2479. Please call us on 086 000 2479. Let's go to another voice note.
Evening, Osimpasi. Evening, Osinthabi. Ke kopa ba anonymous. Osinthabi. Ke kopa umphe clarity mona. Mona waka ona sebetsa government. Ene le lesole. So, ha hlokafala. Hona le tjhelete tse kileng ka di fumana. So, hodima mo ke fumana tjhelete ya pension fund every month. So no, and then deal 2012 ka 2012 ka fumana lengolo ne. Lengolo leo mo fumana hona tjhelete tse tsahetse ke tlameng ke di fumane. So ba re ke Pretoria. Ke nke everything, di death di eng. Okay, ka ya ko. Ha ke fitla ba sheba mo. Ba re he tjhelete o no tlameha o e fumane ke ena wa e bona ke bokana e ngotswe mo. Ba re tjhelete e o e fumaneng ha fetsa o hlokafala ke ena, and then re hula le interest ya teng ke ena wa e bona le yona, and then e ntseng o e fumana ka kgwedi dijara tse o se e fumane ke ena e etsa bokana, and le yona wa e bona ena le interest ya teng ke ena ke bokana. So ke be ke ba botsa hore, and then why le mpha tjhelete o le tseba hore e tlo tlameha hore e patalwe. Ba re o tlameha o e fumane and o tlo e fumana bophelo ba kaofela. So nna ke a ba botsa ke re, what if nako e nngwe hape le tla re ke a kolota, and then ka nako eo ke tla be ke sena tjhelete ho patala, because no le kgona go le patale ka e ya hae. Ba re ha o no kolota. Ke re ha ke no kolota jwang? Why no ke kolota? Ha se wena a kolotang, ke yena o na kolota state. O na kolota state jwang? Ha se yena ana kolota state, kwena ana kolota state. Ko o simpa sitho na esale esa mphe kelelo hore na re ke etse jwang. Ke la ba ka itloela fela jwalo. So ne kopa o se Nthabi a ntlhalosetse hore na ho etsahalang. Ho tswa mo pele ke a jwang hona dikgato tse tlameng ke dinke kapa vele e jwalo hore tjhelete eo ke tjhelete e ileng fela jwalo e patetse dikoloto tseo na. Ke a leboha.
Sure. Okay. So, Putsak, unfortunately, it's not a call. Upon death, ya monna, did you register a deceased estate? If not, that's where your main problems are going to be. Okay. If ukolota state, it means horabaning somewhere, deceased estate with the master. Maybe no estate duty that he had to pay. And your debts don't disappear. So whatever debts that were there in the battle, so you need to first find out with the master's office what happened. Did anybody register the death? Your husband with the master atola letters of executorship in now, because those letters give whoever has them the power to do anything they want with that estate, because they were granted that power. Give the master. And also how about bonza the statement they need to attach or now what were these debts and all of that, but they can only give you that information with letters of executorship. One of that piece of paper gives you that power to go and find out. And hangata, unfortunately, but these things these are things that are not out there. I'm trying to do that soon. Talk about deceased estates. It's a huge problem in our community.
I actually think we should do that. I think we should focus on deceased estates probably next week or something like that. Let's talk about that, because it's such a huge thing.
Yes.
There's estates that are still not wound up.
Yes.
And
or not even registered at all.
Years later. Registered but not wound up.
Yeah.
Because a bank holds the executorship and therefore
yes,
you have access to nothing because these people refuse to let go of this and that. It's a lot. So I think we need to focus on that next week. Thank you, Nthabiseng. Let's go to the next voice note.
Good evening, Mapaseka and Nthabiseng. I am Bongani. I need assistance. I got divorced in 2016. To date, the joint estate has not been divided because the ex-husband refuses to sign the documents from the attorneys. The attorneys have since stabbed me because I'm unemployed and cannot afford to pay them. I was referred to legal aid. Legal aid said they only deal with divorce and nothing after that. I was referred to the legal aid council. When I got to the legal council, I was told that I did not qualify for a pro bono attorney because of the high value of the estate.
That's unfortunate.
Now I cannot afford an attorney. Where does that leave me?
Sure.
What recourse do I have to get the estate divided? Because my ex-husband lives in our house, and I have nowhere to live. I need to have the estate divided. What contingency? Cannot attorneys assist me on a contingency basis?
Unfortunately, when it comes to family law, and particularly divorces, the courts have removed, quote unquote, that mandate. Our attorneys can work on contingency in divorce matters because that is an estate that is due to an individual, and hangad is not a lot of money, so it doesn't make sense for attorneys to do that. And what she needs is an enforcement order. And legal aid, apart from the fact that they don't do anything after divorce, if the property is as high as you say, they have a means test, which means you wouldn't qualify in any event. She went to the LPC. I don't know if she went to the LPC because the LPC have offices for pro bono as well. Legal Practice Council.
I didn't hear that. I'm not sure.
Maybe she must try that.
So they have an office for pro bono?
Yes, they do. They do. And then it's an enforcement order, but it's not that hectic.
They should be able to.
Yeah.
Sure. But for an attorney to do it, costs?
For an attorney to do it, it's drafting an application. I think it depends in which court, match court, high court.
So cost-wise, that could be a bit hectic.
It could be a bit hectic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. We can't take another call. Yeah, time. We don't have time. Nthabiseng, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much for being here. We'll see you again in about 2 weeks, in the next 2 weeks, right?
Yes.
The Legal Practice Council, the number 010-001-8500. It's 010-001-8500. Okay. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
We'll see you again soon. It's time for the news. It is 8 o'clock. Ondalambana is on standby. After the news, Bongani with Monday Monday.
Life, love and all every Monday to Thursday from 7 to 9 p.m. with Mapaseka Mokwele on Radio 2000. If you missed it, catch the rewind on radio2000.co.za.
SABC News. Independent and impartial.
Thank you, Mapaseka. Top stories at 8. Gift of the Givers shares sentiments in Marikana commemoration lecture and another arrest on the University of Fort Hare murders. For Radio 2000 News, I am Ondilambana and a very good evening. The week of August 10th to 16th, 2012 was a horrendous experience that showed the callousness of man. These are the sentiments shared by the founder of the Humanitarian Foundation, Gift of the Givers, Dr. Imtiaz Suleiman, in his address at the 4th Annual Marikana Commemoration Lecture. The lecture was hosted virtually by Sibanyi Stillwater. The Humanitarian Foundation was among the first respondents to assist the striking mine workers 11 years ago. Dr. Suleiman had this to say.
Gift of the Givers was involved in assisting those miners at Marikana, those and their families who were extremely hungry. Disappointingly, on one of the days, we received 2 calls. One was somebody purporting to be from Lutori House. The message to me was, please stop giving food parcels to the minors. This is an instruction from the president. In that, once they're hungry, they will stop the strike soon. All they wanted was to feed their children. That is the aspiration of 60 million South Africans. All they want is dignity.
For surviving family members like Amina Fundi, who was just a little girl when her father Hassan Fundi was killed while on duty as a security guard at the mine, the pain still runs deep.
My father played a very huge role in mine and my siblings' characters and value systems, our religious faith, and like our intellectual interests. His passing kind of affected that. And like now when I look back at it, I think subconsciously it could have just been rooted in some sort of distrust in God, because it felt like, why would you take somebody so dear to my heart away from me? I just couldn't understand.
The Senzo Meyiwa murder trial has adjourned until tomorrow morning at the High Court in Pretoria. 5 men are on trial for the murder of the Bafana soccer player who was shot and killed in October 2014. Meyiwa was shot and killed while at Kelly Kumalo's mother's home in Vosloorus, east of Johannesburg. State witness, police officer Mandla Masondo, earlier said there was no link between the gun found in possession of accused number 3 Nthabiseng Dubazana in 2015 and the Meyiwa case. State prosecutor George Baloyi, however, asked him whether he had knowledge of the ballistic report.
You were also asked as to whether there's any connection between this firearm and the Vosloorus case, and you mentioned that you would have mentioned that. Were you part of the investigation in the Vosloorus case? No. Now, once you've handed in the firearm at ballistics, do you have anything to do with the process further?
Yes, it's to wait for the reports from the ballistic, and that report will lead me where to go.
A 7th person has been arrested in connection with the University of Fort Hare murder cases. The 35-year-old Izimele Qiliza, who is the cousin of the police officer Lindokuhle Manjati, who is also an accused in this matter, appeared briefly in the Alice Magistrate Court. He faces charges including murder and attempted murder. He will return to the dock on the 21st of September, where he is expected to apply for bail. The arrests are related to the murder of a University of Fort Hare fleet manager Petras Roots and the Vice-Chancellor's bodyguard Mboneli Vesele. Recapping the top story, the week of August 10th to the 16th, 2012 was a horrendous experience that showed the callousness of man. These are the sentiments shared by the founder of the Humanitarian Foundation, Gift of the Givers, Dr. Imtiaz Suleiman, in his address at the 4th Annual Marikana Commemoration Lecture. I am on Delambana Freddy 2000. Next update follows at 9.
SABC News. Independent and impartial. Radio 2000 has signed a code of conduct that is enforced by the Broadcasting Complaints Commission of South Africa. In terms of the code, we are committed to broadcasting news that is accurate, comment that is fair, and programming that is not harmful to children, does not amount to hate speech, and contains no gratuitous violence or explicit sex. If you think we are not living up to this code, you may inform the Broadcasting Complaints Commission of South Africa. Direct any complaints in writing to the Broadcasting Complaints Commission of South Africa, PO Box 412365, Craig Hall 2024, or email bccsa@nabsa.co.za. For more information, please visit www.bccsa.co.za. Radio 2000, our music, your memories. Are you looking for specific details from an interview on Radio 2000? If you happen to tune in at the tail end of an interview, or if you'd like to hear a specific interview again, worry not. Just go to www.radio2000.co.za. Click on the show where you heard the interview, and there you will find all the podcasts you might have missed on that particular show. Stay in the know on www.radio2000.co.za. Radio 2000, our music, your memories. Fearless in the face of adversity, strong-willed, resilient, determined.
Being the only woman amongst 15 men, not fighting for my own interest or my own family, but for the oppressed people of South Africa as a whole.
These words describe the women who marched in 1956, refusing to live under the apartheid regime's thumb. Live free or die hard. Radio 2000. Our music, your memories.
Life, love, and all. Recap.
All right, so we're talking to Tibos Mokwele, and we're talking about submission. He wrote a book called Pause.
Submission can only happen where there is love, security, and freedom in a relationship.
Right.
When the environment is conducive, the act of submission has no choice but to be inspired. What am I talking about when I say security? Are you secure?
In your relationship, in your space, in who you are.
Physically, emotionally, mentally. Do you have the freedom to be? And freedom goes back, by the way, to your child rights, which is another chapter. You have birth rights as a child.
Right.
Am I worthy
of love?
Do you see me? Do I matter?
I will not matter if you don't see me.
That's right.
That's important.
And am I worthy to be heard? Am I also worthy to be me? That's number 5. Can I be me?
Be comfortable?
Can I be Mapaseka married to Tibos and I love traveling, he doesn't? Can I go see the world by myself?
And he should be okay.
Can you trust me with that?
And it's okay.
That's the freedom I'm talking about.
Okay.
So when she comes back, right? And she's just seen the world. She has done the things that really inspire.
And she's excited.
Who she is, right? Yeah. She comes back and I'm coming back from work and I call him, are you home, baby? He says, hey, you, get lala. She has no other response but to say, go
with it.
Go with it. Or I want to right now. Papa Kama is perfect. Okay, done.
How fitla?
Kill. How far are you? 15 minutes away. How fitla? Kids, warm, waiting for you. And funny enough, she's waiting there to do what? To serve you.
To make sure that you get it.
You get full before the food.
Because you're happy.
Because of
your
heart. Service.
Your heart is full.
Thank you.
This is Life, Love, and All every Monday to Thursday from 7 to 9 p.m. with Mapaseka Mokwele on Radio 2000. Let's talk on Life, Love, and All with Mapaseka Mokwele on Radio 2000. Call Mapaseka Mokwele now on 086 000 2479. Send your voice notes on WhatsApp to 060 584 2250. Monday is Men Day. Conversations with men on Life, Love, and All with Mapaseka Mokwele.
All right, it's 10 after 8 right here on Radio 2000. Thank you very much, Onda Lambana. She's back again at 9 o'clock with the news. Her last bulletin today will be at 10 p.m. Remember, at 9 o'clock, just as well, join us with a Mino. That will be after the 9 o'clock news. For now, though, we're talking to Bongani Luvalo, author of, award-winning author, before
Amen.
Of A Father, a Stranger, and he's also founder of the Cool Dads Foundation. Bongani, how are you?
Critical but stable.
Yeah, rather.
Yeah.
You are rather.
How are you? I'm
better than you.
No,
but guitaring.
I'm fine.
I'm better than you, thanks.
Yeah, I know.
I'm all right. I'm good. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us. Bongani, what is going on with men?
What have they done now?
Hey, it's king. Remember that video that there was it caused a lot of mayhem in response largely from men when there's a lady called Zizi Moloko who posted on her TikTok that she's been dating other men when she met her current husband, and eventually she chose him as the one. This is like years later. Okay, so men were up in arms, or how can the husband not be her first option? She's settled for the guy after years of multi-dating, they called it. Kanti, what's going on?
With multi-dating or
with men? Why were they up in arms? Make us understand, or at least make me understand.
I didn't see much of the traffic. Look, I don't know whether should we call it entitlement. That we're entitled to a woman who will only consider you, focus on you, or only want you or choose you at that particular time. Or is it just standards? You know, as a man, this is how you should be, you know, engaging in the space of relationships. So we've got those double standards. We've got societal norms. We've got values. We've got principles, of which sometimes they're one-sided. They could be favoring men.
Sometimes.
You know. Yes, I'll use the word sometimes.
Sometimes?
Yes.
Okay. You sticking to it?
Yes.
Is that your final choice?
That's the best I can do for now.
All right.
You know, so you've got all of those dynamics that are favoring men. And we've become accustomed to that. This is how we want things to be done, and even women actually you know make that so possible, you know, to be the ones that say, no, why busily, why aren't you focusing on Talifang, or why are you raising your child like this, why are you spending your money like this? So everyone has got opinions, and we've got these standards that we've put in place.
I want to understand something. And we're talking in 2023. Yeah? We're not talking in 1950.
August.
Okay? It's a different time and things are different now. Dating is what happens.
What happens?
Dating is what happens. People go out and they date. So girl meets boy and they befriend each other and whatever. Maybe we let how mare and we bua in a son shapi. Okay? And then I carry on and I'm dating Sipo and John and Sizwe after that and Shalfang after that. And then after that, Ramano, it's not serious. And then I'm like, oh, maybe serious. Okay. Then I go for that person. What is so wrong with that?
Look, Aspas, I think probably the first understanding or appreciation should be, do we know what is dating? You know? And what is supposed to be happening at that stage of dating. Are we in a relationship or are we dating? Because dating is having to give somebody time, doing some type of activity with the end result, or hoping that at the end of the day you will know them and decide whether you want to be in a relationship with them or not. You know, so now we've made the dating phase as if it's the relationship itself. Because of even in that video, the lady says, "Look, I've been hearing and spending time with different people, having to understand, is that what I want? Is it what I don't want?" Because by the time people have made a choice of being in a relationship with Pasi, you are not even sure whether these things that who Pasi is really what you want from a woman.
But
even yourself from what you want from a man.
But even then, even if we choose to actually jola, and I choose to jola with Mpon, Tabo, Sipo, and whoever else, why is it that when we then get married, that guy, whoever, Bongani, why then do you feel the need, or it somehow feels as if you have a right to sit and say, hey, Marucholile man, we're not going to sit like the whole time. It's not like you were sitting there twiddling your thumbs. Right? And it's not a competition. Of course we know that. It's not a competition. But what I'm saying is, it is life. And as such, I am alive. So I was seeing somebody probably with the hope of something happening. It didn't happen. And when it did happen, I moved on to the next one. What's wrong with that? Why is it that there's this thing about men? Because they were talking about body count. They were talking about multi-dating. They were making it sound like it's such a horrible thing. So I'm trying to understand. Even with that body count, but
I think, as I said earlier on, social norms and standards that we've put in place, where it is acceptable, it's an acceptable thing for Nali Talifang to talk about body counts and be proud about it. And then when women do the same, it is, a sin. They are scolded at, because of even we in the public.
So it's not even about talking about it, because truth be told, I'm not even impressed with a guy who talks about his body count. I find it childish and silly. So it's not that a guy who says, is, I would probably look at this person and think, I don't even want to be your friend, let alone have a relationship with you. Just even as your friend, I would not be comfortable. So that's a different thing. So the same, you know what I mean, would go with a woman that stands and says, it's not necessary conversation. But that said, it seems as if men will accept the fact that, I mean, Lonala multi data selling, yes, guys. We know of a lot of guys who have MPAs, married better available. we know them. We know them. So when are you married? Yeah, but it's not serious. What is that? You're married, but it's not serious. Oh, you're not married. Mari, you are questioning the fact that unachola before.
It's how society perceives. And we have put a blueprint of how people should live their life as far as relationships and love is concerned. You know, as much as then also I was emphasizing that society, in its own quarters and passages, it applauds that behavior. It's an acceptable behavior that Bongani has got. We saw, you know, and that's why when a woman comes out and says, "Oh, actually, the one who's marrying me now, I chose him out of 5 of them," you know, because of. With us, remember that we always say men are conquerors. So if I've Shelat Pasi and she's agreed to marry me and be the mother of my kids and so on, I've conquered her. You know, because that's how we perceive it. Even bringing Lobola there, so I've conquered Bas. So now when somebody else or a woman is the one that comes and says, "Look, I've got the trophy, I have chosen this individual out of men," then society goes like, "That's taboo. How dare you? How do you even come and talk about it in public?" You know, whilst if it was done by a man, Bongani in the morning before he gets married, we're trying to weigh his tax. Then he's like, "Hey, Pasi, I chose her out of 5 girls."
And then you think,
and they're like, "Yeah, no."
And even the other women will be like, "Oh, she's so lucky.
Yeah, she's so lucky. She's the prime." It's a lucky foot that's got a wear Cinderella shoe.
Lucky my foot, my fuzzy foot. You know, okay. Does a woman have to inform you that she's dating other men when you take her out on a date?
Yes. As much as in an honest and a sober society.
We're talking about dating. We're not talking about selection.
Even dating.
Okay.
We ought to be open to each other. I think it's an expectation for both parties. It's not only for a woman that must come and declare. Even myself, I must be telling you that, Napasi, I'm also shopping around.
I'm multi-dating.
I'm multi-dating. We've learned this thing over the weekend. It's a new term, multi-dating. But I am really having coffees and dinners and breakfasts with other women.
So I'm not sleeping with anyone. Basically,
you can qualify to that if it means that, because also that's why I was saying that once we understand what dating is and what it entails,
yes, and that's what I want us to get to. So I'm saying to you, Hore, if you're just going out for a coffee, and you say, "No, I had another date last night," oh, is it? Yeah, but I mean, it was at whatever restaurant. We just had coffee, or I went out for a drink with so and so. That's okay. Right? I suppose the difference now is that with where we are now, again, 2023, bonking doesn't seem to be a thing. It's not like sleeping around seems to be, it's like, yeah, well, we had we went out for a drink and then we had sex. But it's like it was a date. It's not taken seriously. Are we old school? Some of us.
Look, I can tell stories of some of
your stories?
No, not my stories.
Oh, damn. I got excited there. Okay, go on. I got excited.
Of our uncles and our babumnanes and babumkulus, in their days of being hippie and so on, and they'll go to clubs, from Soweto, they'll take a train to Springs, because of Springs has got beautiful women and the guys are stylish and so I wouldn't want to say it's more of a 2023 thing than a 19th century kind of a situation. I think people just have different moral standards,
right.
There are those who even when you said, I love you, Pasi, I want us to do this, I was like, okay, cool. Now I'm going to wait until we get married before we have sex.
Right.
And then the someone also says, before I even consider having to marry this person, I also want to test drive and see if are sexually compatible. You know, another one is going to say, man, it's not that, it's such a big thing. I've enjoyed her company, or she enjoyed my company as a guy. We've had coffee. Do you want to take this home? Yeah, no, I think we've enjoyed each other's company. Let's have a conversation at home, watch Netflix. We end up in each other's shits, you know. So it depends on what is your principles and your values or your moral standard that will say, is it going to include having sex or not? And those who choose to do it, you know, it's them. And as long as they're doing it, you know, in a clean way without having to be infecting other people and so on, it's their own choices. And those who say, I would love to wait. So multi-dating could include or exclude sex. It depends on an individual. But also, there are serial multi-daters. Not what I'm single, but they are on a rampage of forever being single and forever dating, whether it's men or women, you know, jumping from this house to that house to that house. And literally, it's their script for this life.
So they are not planning on, those people are not planning on settling down. Settling down is not part of what they do or what they're interested in doing. All good and well. When they now decide that they're settling down, whether it be a male or female, do they have to now be upfront?
On their history, body count book, if I can call it that.
Does history matter?
It doesn't, but I think if it's things that you think if they were to appear, or somebody says, oh, it's my past, like, Pasi is my ex, you know, and then you're like,
what the hell are you saying that? Okay, move.
But I'm saying the question or the conversation could include a Pasi coming out, and depending on what's the context, it might have a bitter taste in the mouth. So rather, some of these things.
You know what I've always asked, and it's usually men that do this. I've always asked, why the need to announce hore motho ke ex? Kana kweo sianga guta usi ex man. Yes, we ex must shut dealers at divorce. We ex husband.
I always say to people, I only have got 4 exes.
How about
the rest we tried. They don't.
No. Who are they in your space? Do you know what I mean? Nah, I can tell you now. People should be counting the ex that you count. Mama Galo is your ex.
Yes.
That's the only ex you should be counting because nina proof.
Sleep.
Nina receipt. Anybody else?
Yeah.
I
only have got 4 of them.
So you don't have 4 kids?
I don't have 4 kids, yes. We'll talk about exes another day. But so
but,
the rest
but you see, the other thing is that you find a lot of men who are comfortable to say, no, I have mama is my ex. But the minute one person says, no, Ntosha is my girlfriend, or Pasi is, they are up in arms. For goodness sake. I mean, I was not exactly sitting in the fridge waiting for you, and I didn't just come out and thaw just when I saw you. You know what I mean? I've been alive, I've been living. So of course you meet different people. Where is the issue? Are you worried about the soul ties that I might have with these people? What exactly is the concern? Because if it's soul ties that you're worried about, then let's go cleansing. But let's then know what we're dealing with.
I'm not sure if you guys in the week you still have that traditional conversation.
Yes, on a Thursday.
Yeah, one day please talk about this thing of spiritual cleansing and soul ties.
You don't listen to the show, do you?
I do on certain days.
You must listen every day, Bongani.
But if you can only date at 7.
No, we date at 9. Bongani, can't.
I do listen.
Before 7, after 9. That's your dating times. Ubachelu to net date nam. So net date on air.
Okay, guys, 7 to 9. Let's go submit a link back off.
That's right.
I really have an interest on this thing of soul ties and cleansing.
So we had that conversation, and I mean, it's always come up that the soul ties are there. But I think the assumption is that the soul ties are only on the woman and never on the man, when in actual fact it's both.
Of course, both of you are participating.
Do you understand? Both of you are there, but for some reason, the worry with a lot of men is that the soul ties. When as a woman
they're carried by you.
Yes, it's as if And a man once explained this to me. I don't know if maybe a man once explained to me how when they date a woman, they feel like there's a dish and it's got clean water. And if anybody else gets it, it's like they're spitting in their clean water, so they can't. And I was like, what the entire nonsense is that?
That's why I was saying that also this thing of conquering, this thing of objectifying of women, this thing of ownership. Remember that, including the question of having to cleanse. Remember that even the king himself, but also even boys when they go to the mountain, part of the things that have got to do with either cleansing yourself, testing your man ability and so on, there's this object called a woman that you've got to go and validate yourself sexually at. So that's why then it would not be far-fetched for them or us to be thinking that actually you are the one who is a dish that collects all of these ties, but now I'm not carrying them, or Hakitlako, and I would not be carrying the ones from whoever you were with before me, So those are some of the bad mindsets that men have, and some of what society has embraced, because of, in the midst of these convictions that we all have, it's men and women who are cultivating these things in society as beliefs, as norms, as standards, and so on. So it's quite a twisted thing. But men will always think that they're entitled to this. It is the way of them having to cleanse themselves, or. But I was saying that, Aspasi, if you think there are things from your past that would have an opportunity to ruin your relationship, either be me or you, let's talk about those things.
Things like what? What could ruin the relationship?
Probably, can I say this inverted commas, that you were a slay queen, and at some point,
what king slay queen? I mean, what? And let me tell you, I'm not asking you in a silly way. I'm saying to you, what would determine that? Because the fact that you meet somebody, for example, with a weave that's like down their back with the longest nails and the biggest lashes, that's what they are now. The assumption is this is what she likes to do. Does that make that person a slay queen?
No.
What is a slay queen?
Those who are dating people of a certain brackets financially, who must be able to maintain their standard and so on, and even how they carry themselves. They only have, I think one Thursday we had that conversation on was it sex trade or modern transactional sex, So if at some point in time you were living that kind of a life, or even myself, I was a Ben 10 to Auspasi, I must, because if I think if it's gonna come out and it might leave a bad taste, then let me have it now on the table, so that later on we don't have to be saying. And it's both for men and women.
I
it's
actually
not
saw
only
something
for
very interesting where this woman was saying, "Nithanda ukuthi mina ngithanda bafana," when in actual fact, number one, and two, nithi mina ngithanda imali yabo. Kahle kahle, mina imali ithanda mina. So imali mayizletha like bayazizela. Akere tshojalo ke thandiso na bayazizela. So haba zizela. What must happen? It's there's this explanation thing that is so expected, but I think it's more, like you said earlier, it's entitlement. If you meet me and you like me, and you and I get along and we decide we're going to move on, it doesn't matter what was happening, because luena at some point, really and truly, I can't be checking what you would do. I'm of the opinion that we are fixing going forward. We are not fixing going back, because there's nothing we can do anyway, even if we tried. We can't go back there and say, okay, last things will stop, so that when we're happy. We can't do that. You know what I mean? We're going forward. So how about we simply go forward and we accept, or we both have histories, whatever those histories are. And that's that. I mean, if managing it, you go, okay, for a living. Okay, let me say, that type of thing. If
that language is something else was passing in the streets. The butcher,
yeah, but that's exactly what I mean. So prostitution.
Oh, okay.
That's exactly. What I mean. Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking. So if a person is right now involved in prostitution and we jola right now going forward, then yes, maybe then that person should inform you, I'm in this business. And Luena, you have the opportunity to say, for me, also business. But with the understanding of how much business income generating business.
So somebody must replace the salary.
No, you must replace the salary. So mutu say, or murakele di keep whatever it is.
Sure, no, definitely.
Whatever it is, but help them. But what I'm saying is, because that one is still happening. But if that person was a prostitute 5 years ago, for goodness sake, you're not going to hold it over their heads.
It's not about holding it over their heads, and I still emphasize, for me personally, I would love to know. Ne?
Okay.
Because of, look, at times it's not about the truth, but it's how that comes out at a different time. And it could feel like a slap on the face. Ne? Let's say, yes, that's your past and so on. And somebody raises it in a spiteful manner. Even myself, I will not even be able to defend you, because of, somebody says, let's linyala prostitutes.
Yeah, I get lona
yes, but so no, I will araba when I know our spouse, because now I'll be like, prostitute.
Oh, so you mean the shock might be too much?
Yes,
at that time.
Even myself, I would not. I'm even failing you as my partner. I was not able to defend. So I'm saying there are things. If it's things that you think can rock the boat,
anything can rock the boat, guys.
Yes, but I'm saying let's agree that there are certain things that must be brought onto the table, and let's go through them so that tomorrow, even someone who wants to spitefully attack you or attack our relationship, we are both in the same page and we're able to defend it.
Do you know how vindictive women are? Do you understand that? How
I hear you.
No. And let me tell you what I mean by that. I could meet your person. Hardly to continue. Kira shem okopa jwang shem. Hey. And they say that not because it's about anything or it's actually the truth, but they're saying that to make you feel bad. That's humans. That's what they do. So it doesn't necessarily have to be true for somebody to make you feel that way.
Sure.
Anyway, so what I'm getting at is, what is there for you to tell me? There's nothing that you could have told me.
It's a different situation as compared to the one that we're making about this is where you were working before, So it's not, I'm not saying Klisa archive how kaufela and it must be put, from A to Z, followed by the years and so on.
What's not to bring?
No, but use your own discretion, and I'm saying that if it's things that stand to threaten your relationship or bring instability and so on, I always say to people, afford a relationship its opportunity to exist and to flourish. Oscar Uzama build something lipasi, this thing of multi-dating, and then busy kamola little fang.
No, I get that.
No, I'm saying when I say to people, allow the relationship that opportunity. There are people whether it's focusing on this relationship or they're just focusing on their books or whatever the second thing is, you are not affording a relationship its own opportunity to either flourish or to die, And then tomorrow you then become surprised, why didn't it work? When you have not put the effort, you have not given it its own opportunity to either live or to die.
Sure. Let's have a chat with Mamsi. Hi, Mamsi. Hey.
What's the topic here? It's so personal.
Yo, enjoy it.
When I was growing up,
yeah,
I just needed somewhere to belong, So at the end of the day, I'm 56 years today. I'm not married, but I have 2 children, 2 beautiful daughters.
Okay.
But looking back, and this thing of the soul ties and what, Mapaseka, I've done things that I'm not proud of.
Okay.
And I'm a good cook. I do everything that a woman can do, but I'm not happy in love. And there's no lack on my side. You see.
Okay.
Yeah. So now you just make me feel much better about myself, because always I will look back and think, hey, I've done things that were terrible, maybe sleeping with so many men, multi-dating. But now I know it was not my fault too. Because if those men slept with me, that means they needed something like myself. I needed a comfort or something. You see?
Ish.
Yeah, we don't have to beat ourselves so hard.
Mamsi, you're right. You don't have to beat yourself so hard. And you went through what you went through and you did what you were doing then. My thing is, where are you now? And when you look at those things, then are you able to stand back and say, okay, that is what because you see, whether you're proud of it or not, it's up to, it's actually you. So you need to be able to stand back and say, yeah, no, you know what, right now, this is where I am, and this is where it's gotten me. Remo live radio and a family radio station. Mare Maria wants the flames it clearly. Hi, Shapila straight into retirement. Straight into retirement.
It's good to hang your boots, how many years?
Only 56.
It's good to hang your boots, Osman. There's nothing wrong.
No. Come down, Phil. Come down, lick your wounds. Ufole, obe sharp. Tsamaye uye, waban, uyithole nyana handle. And then obatle ba le ba se ba lo folla sasa o ska ya go bopente
Thank you for advice. I'll look into it.
Mamela
ba
le ba follang sasa tla ku rute o mathile ba le ba follang sasa ba banyane ba o bona hona jwanong ba o robile pelo ba banyane ba tla ka paper 2 a ke re ba o shapile ka paper 1 ba o roba pelo paper 2 balolo ma kidney abadlali ba banyane ba tswara
including retirement age
no it is ba baholo ne ba khatsetsenyana le tsukiri teng mo wa bona hona le mathatanyana le nteng itshwara ka ba baholonyana. Thank you very much, Mamsi. What do you say to Mamsi Bongani?
No, I must hang up. I think at times you must concede and say, you know what,
guys, love is necessary.
Maybe actually this is not meant for me.
No, I don't.
Even the Bible says,
I don't think so.
No,
Mamela, lehodimo la rena doesn't have to be lewane. Just like in every relationship, the beautiful part of it, relationships are different. So you don't look at a relationship and say, oh my God, it was exactly like that one. You'd be bored, actually. You'd be bored. Relationships are different. Life is like that, right? So, Liena, companionship is important. You know, so maybe now she should be getting into a stage where it's okay. Do you know what I mean? Abeli my size, why? Maybe it's time you look at a different person. You don't go for the type that you were going for. Baba Monsters in the Flames.
Actually, earlier on, I wanted to ask that in the midst of not going back and people's archives, people say we must ask about your previous relationships to try and establish Bongani or you know. So what happened, Bongani Kawanalpas? Bongani, what happened with you and Nthabiseng? So tell me the past 2 or 3 relationships. So are you saying we should also not go there?
I'm happy to go there, but I can tell you now for free, nobody will come out and say, I now was toxic in my relationship. They don't do that.
This man.
Wabona taba ke hore nanal problem le nkgono waka, and then ole nasa batli mme waka, ole na nasa batli ngwanaka, ole everybody else is there's a lot of crazy people out there. And when you talk to people, even though the simplest things you'll hear, people will do you wrong and blame you for it. Right? So you find a person who will do you wrong and blame you for it, and then you ask that very person, hore, actually, how was your relationship? You think they're going to come and say, oh, I was horrible. And they're going to go give marketing time. But busy on a marketing pitch. But such is life. Let's take a break.
This is your safe space on Life, Love and All with Mapaseka Mokwele on Radio 2000. Call Mapaseka Mokwele now on 086 000 2479. Send your voice notes on WhatsApp to 060 584 2250.
Are you looking for specific details from an interview on Radio 2000? If you happen to tune in at the tail end of an interview, or if you'd like to hear a specific interview again, worry not. Just go to www.radio2000.co.za. Click on the show where you heard the interview, and there you will find all the podcasts you might have missed on that particular show. Stay in the know on www.radio2000.co.za. Radio 2000. Our music, your memories. Fearless in the face of adversity, strong-willed, resilient, determined.
Being the only woman amongst 15 men, not fighting for my own interest or my own family, but for the oppressed people of South Africa as a whole.
These words describe the women who marched in 1956, refusing to live under the apartheid regime's thumb. Live free or die hard. Radio 2000. Our music, your memories.
Rhythm at Dawn with Mateko Mosito brings you a new movement. The Union Dance with Fang the Rhythm.
I just want to see you again. The smell of you.
Every Friday at 5:30 on Radio 2000. Our music, your memories. Let's talk on life, love, and all with Mapaseka Mokwele on Radio 2000. Call Mapaseka Mokwele now on 086 000 2479. Send your voice notes on WhatsApp to 060 584 2250.
Okay, so it's about 16 minutes to go to 9 o'clock. At 9 o'clock, we've got the news on the Lambana. And after that, Mino on the wireless. For now, though, we go straight to our voice notes. I've got Bongani in the studio, Bongani Luvalo. We're talking Monday, Men Day. Let's hear what we've got on our voice notes.
Good evening, Auspas and the guest. Look, for a woman, body count is a bad thing. A woman who's got a lot of body count or a high number of body count, they find it difficult to maintain a relationship, those people. Because women naturally are emotional. And then they want to, if you know the woman has gone through 15 guys, you are the poor guy who's going to come there and want to settle down. You have to compete with 15 different people that she still remembers.
Why are you competing
We're not like
with
that.
anyone?
We're logical beings. You can have sex with a woman and it means nothing to us. But it's not like that with women. So please, women must understand. We're not the same. Understand that.
Why are women by feel like understand why is he saying women? Rona, we can sleep with a woman and not feel anything. Mara, women.
Yeah, all it's he's the one that also contribute to the biological elements, the muscle.
Body count.
Yeah, he says there are no emotions attached. So high body count. I think it's like traffic fines. So that's traffic fines every 3 years. They go away. So probably us men, after particular years, our body count then goes down. And then it starts. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. What's why? I want people like that. Anyway. Mara. You know, I find that so horrible because that kind of man will actually say that to his partner. And now you are saying transparency and how do you become transparent with somebody like that?
Yeah, it boils down to that element of entitlement, but also toxic.
Yes, it's toxic masculinity. How kopana luena, Bongani? How kopana li Josephina? I'm giving her name now. How kopana li Josephina? When? And you say hi to her, hey, can we do dinner? Are you really thinking she's a virgin?
You're hoping. You're hoping.
When
those who are hopeful by the house looking for a virgin.
Ukopana liana are hi, or how old are you? I'm 38, and you are hoping that she's a virgin.
Yes, but tembal bulali.
Oh, Gosiam. Spindu ya bulali. Spindu ya pilis.
Washumseleko.
Lava spindu ya bulali.
No, I think there are people, and I think Kalfang.
What does it change?
I don't know. It goes to individuals' preferences.
No,
there are people who...
Does it feel different? Does it change? Like when you are there when you're having sex with a woman who's been with another man, does it feel different?
Oh man, look, there are people who tell you that a woman is inexperienced. Like we're having sex, but you can tell that here, or you broke their virginity. Sexually, they don't have experience,
and therefore that's exciting for you.
No, there are those who don't want that. And like I just want somebody who is as good as somebody who's worked at the butcher, because they come with a lot of experience, and they're going to contribute to our sexual life in a beautiful way. That's one individual or one group. Then you've got those who do not want experienced people, but virgin or close to virgin, so it's 1 or 2 body counts, so that they're the ones that corrupt that person. No, it's preferences, I suppose.
No, I get that. Yeah, I get that. But you must understand. You're either virgin or you're not. You cannot be almost virgin. If you're not, it's like, and even if you've been with one
almost
person,
olive oil.
If you've been with one person for 10 years, you might as well have been with 20 people. Because if you have been sleeping with this person, even if it's once a week for 10 years, baton, how 10? 1 year each year.
I don't think, and probably maybe other men can still call or send a voice note. I think to other people it's about the experience that I'm talking about, and it just a man arrives and says, you know what, the sex is just boring, you know, it just becomes a Nando situation, and then it's done. I just want excitement, and now either you are willing to teach your partner on how you want these things to be done, or you are hoping that they come with their own script and then participate and go forward. Half the time, you'll find that if she doesn't have experience, she doesn't have experience. She's waiting on you.
I have a theory. This is just my theory. Guys who, like our voice note thing, guys who specify and insist on a woman who is not experienced, is because they don't know what they're doing in the bedroom. So they are hoping to get somebody who doesn't know much. Yeah, they are hoping to get somebody. Listen to my theory. No, it's okay. You don't have to agree. But listen to my theory. Hear me out. If you are meeting somebody who is not experienced, they're not going to know if you're good or bad. They take whatever you give them. It's like women who will say, oh, he was my first boyfriend and he's great in bed. Compared to?
Theories.
Great compared to what?
Theories.
Theory practical aditwan.
Indeed.
Aditwan. This is why how qeta re batla bona practical like I mean holobala ko dibuke. And a theory, the problem with theory when it comes to sex. Number one problem with theory, you're either watching porn, wrong theory, they're already teaching the wrong thing, or you're hearing from friends, liars, they're teaching you the wrong thing. So your theory and your teachers in terms of your theory, incorrect. So the
best teacher is experience.
The best teacher would be experience. But you're saying she mustn't be experienced so that you are her experience. So whether you're a 2-minute noodle or you are whatever the case may be, she doesn't know any better. This is what she has found. So when she says we are sexually compatible, she doesn't know what sexual incompatibility actually is.
I agree with you.
Could that be a thing?
No, I agree with you totally, Auspas. And remember that as men, we also have got these egos. So you'd want, and somebody who's experienced would be able to, stand up and clap hands for him like, yo, baby, we're shy land.
Yes.
Yeah, what? While if it was given an opportunity for an experienced lady to come into the same space, they'd be like, brah. Either go to the men's clinic or try, So men will also deal with egos, and you don't want somebody who's gonna come and challenge your ego like that. Yeah. But also, you could be somebody that has got an inferiority complex. That if the person talks to me and they tell me and want to correct me, I will see it as an attack instead of seeing it as a contribution to say this is how we can better our sex life in this relationship.
Guys, please, just start going for therapy. Guys, therapy is a necessary thing. You are bleeding on the wrong people. You are actually taking out your ego and issues on people that have done nothing. On a person that probably wants to build with you, and that's why they are saying with you, is a left or is a right? Because it's not like, Ore, where I hopeless, I'm running away. No, you're grand. I'm just navigating you to what I like. It could purely be because she has touched herself. But because when I saw the ego issues and whatever, she says, I like it when you touch me here. You say, no, guys, let's go to another voice note.
Hello, House Passy and your guest. This is Buffalo from Soshanguve. On the topic for today, what I can say is, let's not glorify cheating. If you are dating multiple partners at the same time, that is cheating. Let's not glorify it. That's the first point. The second point, it's just an excuse, to use that phrase, let's say you're dating 3 guys. Then no, just dating them because I'm just experimenting. No, you're not experimenting, you are cheating. Experimenting can be you date a guy for 3 months, and then if you see that I look, and then you move on to the next guy. Date him for 3 months, then if you see or I look, you move on. Date another guy, you see or I look, 3 months, then you move on. Dating them at the same time is definitely cheating. So what we are doing here is trying to glorify cheating, which is wrong.
This is interesting. You know what I find interesting? You started by saying we need the understanding of dating. And I think that's exactly what we're hearing here. Because maybe we understand dating differently. Because if you are now deciding to be exclusive, it's different to dating.
Yes.
And then you can't be exclusive with more than one person. That's not exclusivity.
That's polygamy.
And that's a different thing altogether.
Yes, which is not cheating. But yeah.
Okay. Let's go to another voice note.
Good evening, Auspasi. Good evening, our guest demo. Auspasi, this body counting thing, for now, I break. Kifela witiking, kibo stout or kibo akitikiring mara, I sharp. No ways. It can be hore kisonse check hore uchozi lebo mang kichozi lebo yeah nekisuko kerekeng mus lwena no suko kerekeng
from church choir
are manyelo imus nersa tsuko ai bona body counting body what baba yirang bao bona eish bakanna ba da na itwanda
yeah
I sharp.
Okay, I hear him.
No,
I hear him.
Look, even at church, my brother, from church choir going down to the ushers at the door, maybe the fridge one, we can borrow that one as well. We're not sitting go fridging.
Frozen.
Yeah. But if you are walking the streets of this world, Mujolo is everywhere. But of course, as I said, I don't think it's any of our business. But if it's things, you don't have to be asking how many people have you been with. It's either you want to or not. I think another time we'll talk about whether, is it good to date or be married. Now my dad married my mother with 5 kids. I always tell people. So there are
Your
those.
mother had 5 kids already.
Okay. So I always say the people say, no, why do you want to go and take a woman who's got kids and so on when you can do your own? So it's one of those things. Are you going to end up usa rati to the way una no rata just because of they've been with 5 or 10 or 20 people? And by the way, love I think knows no boundaries. There are people who have went and fetched their wives from the butcher. Married to a person that they met there, they fell in love, removed them there, and they started a new life, And does that change the price of bread? No. They are pursuing love and giving love a chance. And those who would want to count things like body count, and it's those who would not want a reason to continue or to go forward. Excuses.
Yeah. Let's have a quick chat with Joseph. Hi, Joseph.
Hi, Mapaseka.
Hi.
Yeah. Joseph and Alex, I think experience does count somewhere, somehow. I don't mean maybe body counting or whatever, but experience here count. How can Shaba and Actible Gabiajo on national radio? How can Shaba participating active Kajoling? Let's say, I get it, sidewalling active Kuku Jul. Who attract the Manglemang one matter, you don't understand. Rather than Moto Udu Putile, Hanke Abade, Jonah Dramana, vice versa. I give you a Tabahanya.
What is the puta?
How do we put it? You mean Motosa Swing or Motosa Joling?
Let's say or maybe Uncle Talana. However, but Baba, Bayana Nutiana, Bayana Nuti, Haka, let me put it that way. But attract more guys, even vice versa, like I'm saying, vice versa. Clever Jiman, Shiman Aling Noti, Kore, Banyana go fella, but Banyako who got experience. Yeah.
So is that a good thing or a bad thing? Markichori, is it good to have a person oling busy, oling naughty, or not?
No, I get what fit into our experience. Most of us it's a good thing as said lovers. Like the lady who just concerned she's 56 are we enough or not experience a little. How to me facilitate then whatever motor how Ushevandu and Rasa can answer. And rather than Tarumi Putile, Kasara Tomouka, Haniana Ewa, Kalana.
Oh, so you are saying Hubitere Osafitile.
Experienced. And now they are tired.
Only Osaliko retirement thing, and then now you come in, auto settle down. I get you. Okay, thank you so much, Joseph.
Bye.
Wrap it up for us, Bongani.
Yeah, no. Look, we all have different standards, principles, and values, and let us pursue life in ways that we want to. Love needs to be given a chance, and any excuse can be used for you not to be there. And it's okay. Life will forgive you for having used a reason, multi-dating, many body counts, this or that. It's okay. But life probably will forgive you later on in life. But love is a beautiful thing, guys. Also, go and date, guys. 3 people, 4 people. You will know and understand all I can deal with or I can't deal with. All I can deal with or I can't deal with. Now I encourage people to multi-date. Multi-date, not mujolo, not the cheating, not the naughtiness that Joseph is talking about.
Not sexual.
Yes.
Go out for coffees.
Go for coffees, dinner, movies, and see if you and this person are compatible. Many people got COVID, they realize, I'm actually married to somebody or I'm in a relationship with someone that I'm not compatible with, because of when they were given a time to spend time together, they realize, flip, we're on the wrong side. 19 August, Mothers Raising Boys to be Son seminar, Carnival City. People can contact me on 07208757798. Ask Iskia hijack.
You've said it very quickly, but that's fine. We'll make sure for all your
socials. Sure.
Everything is on our socials. Time now for the news with Onda Lambana. Just after that, Just Ice with a Mino.
Life, love, and all every Monday to Thursday from 7 to 9 p.m. with Mapaseka Mokwele on Radio 2000. If you missed it, catch the rewind on radio2000.co.za.
SABC News. Independent and impartial.
Thank you, Mapaseka. Top stories at 9. Gauteng Tourism speaks on the upcoming BRICS Summit in South Africa and safety in Kruger National Park